once again, thank you both for talking to me with me today. Nupa and Kazumi, you're both migrants to Australia, and you both use my services to get your visas to come out to Australia, and you now live in Adelaide, which is where we're both talking to each other from, or all talking to each other from today. So I thought I'd just take the opportunity to ask you both some questions about your life in Australia, so that you can give that perspective to other people overseas who might also be considering settling in Australia. So I guess because I've mentioned that we're all in Adelaide, just if you could just tell me, and either of you can answer these questions, if you could just give me a little bit of an insight into what you think about the livability of living in a city like Adelaide is like.
Okay, you want to start and then I can jump in?
Look, back in 2007, when I decided to start migrating to Australia, the first place in my mind was coming to Adelaide because of the Adelaide Oval, that big scenario that we see in the cricket match. So, luckily when we started the migration process, we got a state sponsor from South Australia as well. Migrating from India to here, we really enjoyed what Adelaide has to offer in terms of weather, livability, 20 minutes around pretty much everywhere, wherever you want to go. If you want to go to the hills, or if you want to go to the beach, or if you want to go for a shopping, around 20 minutes drive pretty much everywhere. And also,
and also the place that we live right now is pretty much road watch area. So whenever it's raining, you can get to see beautiful sky, the moon, everything. We have come from the city where pollution is like part of our day-to-day life. So from that area to live here in Adelaide, pollution-free, and getting to see a lot of greeneries around us is really good about Adelaide. That attracts most of us. Even like when I say about pollution, the first thing that comes into my mind is noise pollution, which is almost zero here, which was completely new when I moved here to Adelaide. So and beaches are excellent. So there is no point that everyone knows that beaches are good, everything is good. But this is something that I have observed, and I really enjoyed staying in Adelaide for that matter, because we have been to Sydney and Melbourne, and it was the same story that over there. But Adelaide is that way really different. Livability, again, when COVID hit, it was, I think, the safest place to live everywhere. The talks were going around all over the world.
In the last couple of years, when the world is hit with the pandemic, in South Australia, Adelaide, we only had 3 days lockdown, and the life was back to routine, where in the world most of the cities and countries were going through the lockdown, and we had situation everything under control. So we were blessed by choosing to stay in Adelaide. And Adelaide is from last 10 years is consistently is ranked in top 10 cities in the world.
Livable cities, definitely.
It is. I think it was number 3 in the last year. And certainly what you've said there about living in Adelaide, I think is something that your family enjoys, my family does, and so many others do. Part of the success that we had here during COVID might be attributed to government policies and the direction that our government took. In terms of, or in mentioning government then, and public services like health and education, what can you tell people about health and education in South Australia or in Australia more broadly?
In terms of healthcare, once you get your permanent residency or when you become an Australian citizen, you are covered with Medicare benefits. which medical benefits gives you access to general practitioners without any cost to you, and also access to emergency medical services without any cost to you, which is a big relief in terms when it comes to cost of living for medical issues. Most of the GP for health-related services are very accessible, and you can get very easily just on a phone call. You're only a phone call away. Comes to like any public transport, again, public transport is always very reliable, very always on time, and public schooling is excellent. The way the area we live in, our kids go to the High School, which is one of the top school in Adelaide, public school. It has to offer great STEM-based learning, as well as they have got excellent sports program. So kids get to enjoy sports, as well as their education is well looked after. So, and it's also like very cost effective. So we like it that way as well.
We come from a background where academics are like really put emphasis on. We put a lot of emphasis on academics. When we moved here, it was a different scenario when it comes to education. So now we see that it has, it's not only about academics, even extracurricular activities should be part of your day-to-day educational life as well, which our kids get to enjoy, which we think that we didn't get much of those areas or much of those chance or opportunities for that matter. So it's really good, the education system and everything. Yeah, so it's quite inclusive, I would say.
Okay, that's good. And that is a difference that some people are aware of when they look at the Australian education system, but some are not. And I think, as you've said, it is different to the Indian education system, but there is an idea to look after people's physical health as well. And in doing that, they can do a wide range of sports and so forth. And I guess I know that Noopa in particular has had the opportunity to watch sport in the Adelaide Oval along with other friends of yours. But I guess sport is quite an intrinsic part of most people's life in Australia, and there are opportunities for us as adults, and there's also opportunities for the children. Is that right?
Yes,
exactly. Yes, yeah.
As everybody knows in the world, Australia is a sports-loving country, and when we stay in the country, you have opportunity to enjoy and involve in the community sports. Like from last 10, 11 years, I'm consistently playing a community cricket and making friends with, developing friendship in that kind of environment. My kid, he plays, my son started playing basketball a few years ago, and now he started his first cricket season this year. And through the cricket, he's building his own friendship as well, which we like. And there is a lot of, in terms of sports-wise, Adelaide and Australia has a lot to offer. And if your kids or if your kids are passionate about sports, then they have got an opportunity and environment provided and supported where they can upskill their sports skills and maybe become a popular man one day.
Even swimming. Even swimming, like when Virat started school, we didn't know that school itself offers a swimming-based programs to every child who attends the school from 5 years onwards. So we knew that if you are living in Australia, you must know swimming, but that's all we knew. Then we had to find our ways to let our children learn swimming. But when he started school, we came to know that there is a school, every single school offers swimming as part of their extracurricular activity, which is really, as I said, it's quite inclusive. You are enforcing physical activity, which is like, it is there and everyone has to attend it. So once physical activity is done, if your child is interested, he can go forward or only for 5 to 10 days, which is good. So swimming is always there. You should know swimming. And then as I said, extracurricular activities, which is being physically active, is really, really important. So yeah. So
yes, I think that idea of having that swimming training is very important in an Australian context, because you've mentioned that you enjoy going to the beach, and that Australian beaches are are really enjoyable. But we would also want our children to be safe while they're at the beach, and to have some knowledge of water safety.
Yes.
Yeah.